Delbarton, a name synonymous with success, charity, and prestige. While the championship athletic programs and prestigious college lists receive the glory and attention, few people realize the incredible importance of the Benedictines in Delbarton's triumphs. Since Delbarton was purchased by the monks of St. Mary's Abbey in 1925 and its opening as a school in 1939, Benedictine values have guided students in academics, athletics, and community service. 75 years after Delbarton's founding, the Benedictine influence is a defining characteristic of Delbarton's culture. As a new freshman, I was captivated by the strong brotherhood at Delbarton. I desperately wanted to be a part of the storied camaraderie, and from my first day, I was absorbed in the culture. I set out to discover the source of this sense of family, and quickly realized that it stemmed from the Benedictine education. I spoke with monks, teachers, and students to fully grasp the impact of a Benedictine education on the powerful sense of brotherhood we all feel at Delbarton.
We're in this together, we're for one another, and even in the day-to-day rubbing elbows and a little bit, sandpaper rubbing against each other and all the difficulties, that's all a place where God is forming us and leading us to love more perfectly.
The monastery is itself a brotherhood. When you join the monastery, you're essentially accepting the fact that all the other monks are your brothers.
This is the core of Benedictine life. The monks live together, pray together, work together, eat together, all that sort of thing. And this is something that we try to bring to the formation of our students.
It's that brotherhood, and it sounds very, very trite to say that, and we use that word a lot, but it's very real, it's very tangible. And I don't know if it exists in other schools, because I'm not in other schools, but I know it tends to be very apparent in the Benedictine school. And I think that's because of the brotherhood that exists in the monastery.
One of the things that Benedict did that was very, very different from people who had written rules prior to him, and he borrowed a lot from all the rules that were around at the time, but it's almost like what he borrowed was great, but what he added or changed is really where you see a lot of Benedict's heart. And one of the places that he really emphasized was this idea of the monks living together. He looked at different models for monastic life, and he saw that the monks in community as brothers, almost like a family setting, but an intentional one. That was going to be the kind of atmosphere in which things could be best, that each individual can not only find God and seek God and walk to God, but he can do that together, and he can also grow as an individual in that community.
So the structure of the rule is designed to kind of take these very different people. Like the monks in the monastery, a lot of them are a lot older than I am. They're from different backgrounds. They're not people I necessarily would have picked to live with. But the way that we live together is designed to bring us together slowly. Like we're people from different places, different ages, and yet we come together to form one body.
What I think is important about the notion of brotherhood is, one, it's not that everybody's the same. In fact, it's just the opposite. It's the ability to look at your classmates and appreciate them for who they are.
Once the value is inculcated, people don't even have to be told, go and support your classmates at this game. Go to this musical performance. Your classmates are up there. You don't have to pound that into people.
Here at Delbarton, it's a totally different experience. You have different groups. You have the really intelligent and talented kids. You have the insanely athletic kids who are committing to all these colleges. You have kids that can sing. You have kids that can dance. You have kids that can paint. You have kids that can do everything. But everybody includes each other. That's really just the Benedictine faith. It believes that everybody should be together. Everybody should be in a community.
Well, I think in our concept of brotherhood, we learn to look at each other that way, that, I'm not in competition with my brother at Delbarton. I'm there to help him be the best that he can be.
So it goes right to the root of the gospel values, love thy neighbor, and so there is a concern for the guys that you're in class with. There is a concern for people whom you serve.
And, so if one person excels or achieves, you would hope that they see that as an expression of the community because the person was able to do that in the context of the community, and so we all celebrate. If there's a problem, you would hope the community is there to support you when there's a problem. Even if there's been a tragedy in one's life, students and families will find the tremendous support and consolation they will get. And it could even come from students that you don't even know, or from families that you don't know, but they are there for you to express support when you need it most. And I've seen that time and time again, this tremendous support.
It was basketball season. We were playing for the JV, and I was having a really rough game. I wasn't doing too well, and I was like mouthing off with the other players. There was a little bickering and fighting, and I ended up getting a technical. And at any other school, coaches would put you at the end of the bench. Players would say, "Why would you do that? It's such a close game." But I had at halftime, when it was halftime, I was a little rattled by all this. Each one of the players came up to me, shook my hand, and said, "Sam, get back in there. Sam, get back in there." And the coach sat me down and just talked with me one-on-one, understanding my thought process, understanding what happened. And whenever that happened, I just realized that this really is a different school. This isn't one of those places where kids are judgmental, where kids try to knock you down. It's the exact opposite. Kids try to lift you up. Coaches try to lift you up. Teachers try to lift you up.
So, just supporting each other and being there for each other in everything, not one particular success or failure or one event. I think it's just everything that we do, everyone is really supportive. And I think that's really where it gets the feeling of the community and the atmosphere of it.
And you see that, although originally not a teaching order, like the Dominicans or the Jesuits, they have developed relationships in place where education has developed as a result of their commitment to place. And you see it worldwide, so the same principles and the same moral vocabulary is being spoken around the world, and that's kind of cool.
Thankfully, we're all there for each other. We'll always be sharing notes, helping each other before tests. The teachers are always there for you no matter what. They're there for you 24/7. You can email them. You can come to their classroom during M block. And if you need any help with anything, the counselors are there for you as well. So there's a really satisfying feeling when you're at Dumbarton because there's help wherever, and you can get it whenever you want and in whatever form you want.
If kids didn't feel a bond to their classmates, you wouldn't see them after they graduate. And it's a shame that some schools just don't have a very strong alumni. In schools like Dumbarton that does have very strong alumni, it's because the kids feel a really strong attachment to the school. Where does that come from? It's the bonds, it's the friends that they had here.
In fact, at my 30th reunion a couple of years ago, it really only took us about 5 minutes being together, and we were suddenly 17 or 18 again. I mean, here we were grown men. Most of my classmates had families. Many of my classmates are empty nesters at this point. Almost all of their kids are out of the house at college. Some of them are even out of college. And they've been working very hard for a long time now, and most of us are now probably 50 plus. And we were able to act like teenagers again, and it was perfectly fine. We just had a great time being silly and talking about some of the things that we did, or some of the things that were said, or the experiences that we had, and acting very boyish, even though some of the wives of my classmates were there, and they just kind of rolled their eyes and would go along with it. But being a student was a lot of fun because the monks and the lay teachers allowed us to be ourselves, and I think that's very important even today.
Benedictines, take a vow of stability so they're not going off to other places. And I think that develops a reverence for place.
This school is our life. This is the main work that we do. We commit as much of our resources and time and energy as we can, so that, and the fact that we're here over the long haul means that we'll be here when people need us. When the time comes for you to get married or baptize your children or send your sons here, when you've had a family of your own, we want people to know that the commitment we've made to one another to stay here and to be here is for you as much as it is for us.
Regardless of your faith, heritage, or past, Benedictine education fosters a community that accepts and welcomes you with open arms. For Dalbarton, a wave truly is an appropriate mascot, because it remains as one throughout the ups and downs of life. As St. Benedict said, "Let them first pray together, that so they may associate in peace." Despite having students come from many different schools, cultures, and backgrounds, we come together to form one body. Who are we? Dalbarton. How do we say it? Together.